Evie Van Pelt, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. So happy to be back here with y'all this week.
Thank you so much. And y'all know Evie. She's the founder, the publisher of The Rebel Walk, the number one source for all things Ole Miss sports information, football, basketball, baseball, you name it, they got it. And today's a huge day. We got baseball on right now. We got wall-to-wall baseball, the NFL draft. You got NBA playoffs. You got two portal kings. Like down in Oxford, it's a wild day. I'm pretty sure everybody's busy. What are you watching tonight for the NFL draft?
Oh my goodness. Well, I tell you what, I'm really interested to see, the Rebels have three that we think will be drafted for sure. Cedric Johnson, defensive end. He'll probably be the mid-round. I don't expect to hear any Ole Miss names called tonight, but to be honest, that's because they're all coming back for the last dance.
No joke.
So next year at this time, we'll probably, have a lot more going on, but still, Cedric Johnson, I think we've heard maybe look for the Bills, Cowboys, and Steelers are interested in him. Safety Dejon Anthony and cornerback DeAndre Prince. I think Dejon and DeAndre probably will also, we look for them to be taken in the late rounds. So we're definitely keeping an eye on that. And do not discount our man, D-Wade, Dayton Wade, former walk-on, came in, set Ole Miss on fire with some of the most spectacular receptions you'll see out there anywhere. So he's one to watch also.
Is it kind of crazy because you brought up Wade, and I want to kind of touch a little bit more on all these guys, kind of give everybody the Ole Miss family a little bit more feel about them. But Wade, I mean, this is the deepest wide receiver draft I can remember. Does that kind of hurt him a little?
Yeah, I think it does. We would have loved to have had him come back, but they've all got to make their own decisions, and can't blame him for wanting to get out there. I feel like he thinks probably he has accomplished a lot in his last 2 years. 2 years at Ole Miss, he was a transfer in. He put on a show last year. I don't know what else he could do
That's the truth.
to convince folks. So we'll see. But just a great guy, phenomenal attitude. That's what, we had an actual, an NIL with him, with Dayton and the Rebel Walk. And what struck me from the very first time we heard him talk was just his positive mental attitude that he's got. So if anybody can make it out there, it'll be D-Wade.
Yeah, and again, the thing about him is he obviously believes in himself, from going to walk on to where he's at. He's faced adversity. And a lot of guys, when you get to college football, you were the best thing since sliced bread in high school. You come on to college, you're the best thing in the whole wide world. You really hadn't faced adversity. I kind of like somebody who's actually had to put their put their head down, humble themselves, and then go out there and continue to work and then also produce. So that's impressive about Wade.
Me too, and I think, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, I think he was actually, that was one of the biggest snubs from the NFL Combine earlier this month. He was not invited. Mm-hmm. He was the number 2 target for Jackson Dart. He finished 7th among SEC receivers in receiving yards, 830 receiving yards, 12th in receptions, 20th in touchdowns. I mean, I think that, you're right. He bet on himself, and I think he said that, and he just said, a lot of players, I had better stats than they did, but then he said, I'm not going to let that get to me, because at the end of the day, the cream's going to rise to the top, and that's how I'm approaching it. So, go D-Wade.
Go D-Wade. Now, tell me a little bit more about Cedric Johnson.
Okay, well, Cedric, is going to be an interesting one.
He's got the NFL body.
He definitely has the NFL body, and like I said, we've heard that he's getting interest from the Bills, the Cowboys, and the Steelers. He looked good at the Combine. He looked good at Ole Miss's Pro Day. Has had a lot of interest in him. I don't know. I mean, I think that he definitely, we've looked at what some of the analysts have said about him. He's strong at the point of the attack, will set firm edges. has strong hands.
He's probably one of the most athletic big men out there. I mean, his combine numbers were stupid. I mean, he ran a 4.6 40.
It was ridiculous.
His vertical is 38 inches. He's 270 pounds, and he jumped. I feel
he had
terrible.
a 10-foot. Yeah, he had a 10-foot 2-inch broad jump on top of his 38-inch vertical, and I think that was among the top 5 best among defensive linemen and linebackers. So he had the highest mark, for the majority of the day. Had 40 tackles in his final season at Ole Miss. So I think that that's going to be, he's definitely going to be, I would say, the highest pick of the Rebels that are in the draft this season. Super nice guy. I mean, I remember talking to him at SEC Media Days, not this last year, but the year before, right after Sam Williams got drafted by the Cowboys. And that was something, he just had the biggest smile on his face. He was excited for Sam, and he was looking forward to when the day would come that he would get his opportunity. So I think that'll be coming.
Well, Cedric Johnson will be looking for you probably day 2, hopefully.
Yes, hopefully. That's what I would expect.
And then, oh my gosh, who else did you mention? I've already forgotten.
Dejon Anthony. He's a safety, and he was a starter at Ole Miss this last year. He was a strong safety in Pete Golding's 4.25. He was interesting. He walked on at one school, Shepherd, and then at Liberty, okay, and then put together a career year in his lone SEC season when he moved to safety for the Rebels. So he primarily played cornerback and nickel in his first 4 or 5 years in college. So, he's another one, really super fast, and we're excited to see what he does. And again, just think about that, walking on at a couple of places and then actually coming in and, making it and being a starter, a productive starter for an SEC school. That says a lot for him.
Well, we've been talking a little NFL draft action with Evie Van Pelt from the Rebel Walk. I got to know, like you said, next year, Ole Miss, this will be a really busy day, but I'm so glad that they're coming back for this last dance. College football playoff I'm looking forward to. I'm already I'm ready. It's happening. I feel it.
I do too. And I did want to go back and just add one thing because I forgot to mention that DeAndre Prince, who is also, we're looking for him to be drafted. He ran a 4.34 40 at the combine.
Whoa.
So, yeah. So we're looking to see DeAndre's name called too. But yeah, I'm already. It's funny. Of course, you want these guys. That's the ultimate goal for them to go on and get a chance to play at the next level. But I'm gonna tell you, I might be a little bit sad next year at this time because Ole Miss has got a heck of a team coming back for the last dance, but then they're going to be losing a whole lot next year. So that'll be challenging, but hopefully it will be coming on the heels of a very, very deep playoff run for the Rebels.
Yeah. Now that spring ball is wrapped up for the Rebels and stuff, any other news coming around Lane Kiffin and the football program?
Well, 3 days ago, they got a huge commit from Jacoby Hobson, and he's from Lake Cormorant, the same school as Cam Franklin in Mississippi. And he was one really, he's really the 2025 class. It's early for Ole Miss at this point, but they've got a Kylan Deere running back, Dylan Alford wide receiver, Talib Graham, and Corey Amos linebackers. And then I'm telling you, Jacoby Hobson was a big pickup and is one that Pete Golding has really, really wanted. And so I think that's going to be, that's a big, important one. He was very, very highly coveted, very talented, 6'3", 205 pounder, can, play linebacker and play DB. I think he's the number 7 player in the 2025 class in the state of Mississippi. So very highly sought after. Plus, we talked, and in addition to getting Henry Parrish through the transfer
I was going to say,
portal,
that's actually, I didn't know anything about, honestly, this new commit that you landed. So I need to go check out Leanne's page real quick. I need to go see what she's been dropping lately. But I saw that he's back.
Yes, he is back, and also the Rebels picked up another real big commit in the running back department is Ja'Cory Merritt, and Ja'Cory Merritt is from New Mexico. I mean, he ran for 1,190 yards, I think, last year, was their leading rusher. He's another, big bruiser. I think it was the seventh most yards in New Mexico history, 17 touchdowns. Wow. Another really, really big, important addition. And they've also had another guy on campus this week. Indiana transfer running back Trent Holland was on campus for 2 days. I think he even extended his visit out to the limit, and his family was with him. He was a leading rusher for the Hoosiers last year. Big, get this, 6'2", 250. So, it's funny how we didn't have
Quinshon Judkins leaves, goes to Ohio State. Everybody's freaking out, and now I'm like, how are you going to feed all these guys?
That's exactly right, and I think if they don't get Howland, that might be the only reason, because they've already got so many guys. But but for sure with Ja'Cory Merritt, adding him in with Henry Parrish and Ulysses Bentley and Kedrick Riscano and Logan Diggs, my goodness, not worried at all about that running back room.
That I'm kind of shocked how it is that he just continues to do it, doesn't he?
He sure does. And, somebody else who is joining him now in that little transfer portal king world is Chris Beard.
My goodness, you ain't lying.
Chris Beard. And I tell you what's making all of this possible is the Grove Collective at Ole Miss. I tell you what, I don't know if you probably saw it, but on May 6th, the Grove Collective announced this week they're going to have an evening with Eli Manning and Jackson Dart. And so fans are going to have a chance to meet both players. There'll be a silent auction and dinner and everything. So that's going to be really, really a great thing, 6 p.m. on May 6th. So people can go visit.
How do people, if somebody's listening right now and they want to go to that, what do they got to do?
Well, they need to go to thegrovecollective.com, and on that site they can find an evening with Eli Manning and Jackson Dart, and there is an opportunity to reserve a table. Tables are for 10. You might want to get some friends to chip in with you, because I think it's $5,000 a table. So 10 people per table, $500 a person, and you got a really great evening with Eli and Jackson, and you have meet and greet and photo and autographed football and all sorts of stuff. So.
And you're also helping out the NIL for Ole Miss, man.
Man, and Chris Beard, he's over there doing work. That portal class right now is number 7 in the nation that he's got. And so that's a big deal. He's currently got 5 players, and big one yesterday, Sean Padula from Virginia Tech, point guard, and the ones that he has so far, Malik Dia, Padula, David Barnes, Dre Davis, and Mikhail Brown-Jones. I tell you what, if you go and look at the averages, the point per game averages of those guys, Chris isn't playing around.
Dang.
I mean, he's So I think really and truly we're seeing, Padula, I think that was a big one. And I think, I make no mistake, I think the Grove Collective played a big role in that, if you know what I mean.
And
so.
Also, one other thing about the thing. So you got some people moving in. Former Memphis Tiger and who did he play for the Big 12? Oklahoma State. Musa Cisse.
Musa Cisse.
Yeah, and he bouncing.
Yes, Musa Cisse is, and Brandon Murray and Austin Nunez have entered the portal. The players that they have brought in, however, I think I looked it up, they have a combined average of 16.7 points a game. So I think, it's interesting. You can kind of see some of the direction that he's going. The Padula, the Virginia Tech guard Padula, I mean, he averaged, I think, 16.4 points, 4.3 rebounds, and 4.6 assists per game. He is truly an impact player. So that's going to be fun to watch. They had a visit from Javon Small yesterday. Yeah, I mean, it's just, they're doing a lot of work.
They are doing work. Ole Miss baseball is doing a little bit of work. They had their big Kids Day game this week, and now they start a huge series against Alabama.
Yeah, they do, and so this is a big one. Ole Miss right now coming into this series with Alabama, they're sitting at 22-18 overall, but the magic numbers there are in the SEC play. They're 6-12. Now, 6-12. The magic number everybody says you need to hit would be 13 SEC wins. They're at 6. So they need 7 more, and they've got this home series against Bama, a road series against Auburn, who they're 2-16. So you hope they can get a number of wins there. But then back home against number 1 A&M, and then hit the road to play LSU. So they've got those 4 series in addition to this one. Yeah, they're going to have to do some work. Now, the good news is this time last year, now it might be a low bar, but this time last year they were 3-15. So 6-12, they're ahead, but they need to come up with 7 wins. It's really interesting. Their remaining opponents are 27-45 in the SEC. So, there's some room now. Funny, the ones that they have already played, the teams that they have already played this year, their opponents' record averages out to be the best in the country as of Monday. So that has been good for the Rebels in that their RPI is good right now. I think they're at number 24 in the RPI, even the 6-12 SEC record notwithstanding. But that's because their opponents have been so strong, as we talked about.
Kentucky, Arkansas, and Tennessee. Like, y'all have already played all 3 of them.
Yes, exactly. So, so we're gonna see this weekend. We're gonna have Riley Maddox on the mound. Actually, the series starts tonight. So same night as the draft. So they play tonight. They'll have Riley Maddox on the mound, and then they'll have Liam Doyle on the mound for Game 2, and then Game 3 is TBA. We may see Gunnar Dennis. We may see JT Quinn. JT Quinn came in Georgia in that final game that they did. They needed to take that final game from Georgia, and they did. So that was good for them that they managed that.
How are people right now? Mike is kind of interesting character down there. The way fans have strong opinions. They either love him or just kind of don't love him. Let's say he got his 1,000th career win, I believe, last Saturday. What is the feeling around Mike right now? I mean, he did get a natty just 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, it was funny. I mean, there were people last season that were frustrated and wanted him to leave and retire, just literally the season after winning a national title. So I don't know, but I think that, there's still a lot of season left to play. And in terms of fans, I think you're right. I think it's still very polarized. I think those that want him gone, obviously sitting at 6-12 in the SEC, they're going to still feel that way. But the ones who, appreciate all that he's done and all that he means to the sport and to Ole Miss are fine with waiting it out and seeing how it goes the rest of the season. And, they've had an awful lot of transfers, we talked about that and fitting those transfers in. And
a lot of injured arms.
Yeah, a lot of injured arms. I mean, you have Hunter Elliott and Xavier Rivas out there Friday and Saturday nights, and I think your season might look a lot different to this point.
I have to agree. Yeah, I was Saturday. I was down at Wingfest, and there was a bunch of Ole Miss fans down there with me, and one of them being Brasky. And my goodness, they were going back and forth talking, Mike and the Ole Miss baseball program. And I'm like, man, it's kind of wild hearing this much Ole Miss baseball down here on the river.
Oh, how funny. but you knew it all. You probably knew more than all of them put together.
Oh, thanks. That's so sweet. I didn't get in it. It was a little heated, but I sure was eavesdropping. I was having a little fun. But Evie, man, tell me what you're working on. You over at therebelwalk.com, again, your number one source for all things Ole Miss sports information. She's got a team over there. They do a fabulous job. What y'all got coming down the pipe?
Well, we're keeping up with, the waning days of the portal for this spring window. The end of the month will be closing, and we'll be keeping our eyes on the Portal Kings now. Like we said, both Portal Kings, Kiffin and Beard, and we'll have all the NFL draft info. And we have a lot of players who are players to watch that maybe weren't ones that folks were thinking of, but that we're going to be keeping an eye out on in terms of undrafted free agents, Zachary Franklin, Isaac Ukwu, Ashanti Sistrunk, Jeremiah John Baptiste. So we'll be keeping an eye on that and giving folks all the latest on that. Of course, we'll have coverage. We have a full team that will be at the baseball series this weekend, so we'll keep you posted on that. And Ole Miss women's basketball coach, Coach Yo, tweeted yesterday, I believe. She said, some folks are asking how KK Deans is, and she said, here's how she is, and she showed her working out on court shooting baskets, and she looked good. So I think things are good in Coach Yo's world as well.
Man, everybody doing that work down in Oxford. But I did get a text. Everybody wants to know, how are the baby swallows?
Oh, they're okay right now. They're to the point where when they're little, they're way down low in the nest and you can't see them. And then the bigger they get, they're like all filling it up and they kind of have to sit up on the edge. And so we're to the edge, but they're funny. They just, when they fledge, when they leave the nest, they just take off and fly. They don't, like some birds are down hopping around on the ground. These literally, they take off and go. So it's kind of fun to watch. And we're at that stage where it could be any time now. So no more snakes.
Hallelujah.
Flesh, so thank goodness.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Evie, have a wonderful week. Enjoy the draft. Enjoy the baseball. And we'll do it again next week.
Thank you so much. Y'all have a wonderful weekend. Hotty Toddy.
That is Evie Van Pelt from the Rebel Walk.